Hey everyone, especially to you, Surgeon Nishagante. So at this chapter, we will be discussing the key components of computer system, particularly the operating system. So at this chapter, I will be discussing what is computer system all about, and later on, my group mates will be discussing the divided parts or the parts I have given unto them. So at this chapter, we will begin with the introduction. So the introduction is that this lesson introduces the discussion of the key components of a computer system and how they work together. So there are three main components of computer system: the hardware, the software, and the humanware. And I am asking for an apology if there are some background noises, but I will make sure that my voice would be audible. So the computer associated equipment is called hardware. The hardware is everything that we can touch that is uh, a part of the computer. Computer software naman is a collection of instruction which tells what to do with the hardware. So the software is the applications or anything that is controlling or giving signals on what would be the function of the hardware. However, the humanware is the most important component of a computer system for some reason because people use the computer power. So without the humanware, either or neither of the two of the computer software and the computer hardware wouldn't function because humanware is the most important component because humanware talks about us. Humanware is the person which makes the computer system function. Next is the learning outcomes. So here are the learning outcomes. Uh, I will not be reading it anymore. And we will begin with introducing to you the computer system. So computer system, it is a collection of entities, the humanware, the hardware, the software, that are designed to receive, process, manage, and present information in a meaningful format. So just like what I've stated earlier, that the computer system is the collection of hardware, software, and humanware. So without those three, a computer would not work. Without hardware, no, without software, of course, hardware wouldn't be produced. Without humanware, software and hardware wouldn't function. Right at this time, we are living in a contemporary world. With the rise of globalization, with the rise of technology, everything become much more easier, especially when the computer or the computer system has been created. So we will be going on to the next part. Okay, the computer system is consists primarily of four basic units: the input unit, the storage units, the central processing unit, and the output unit. So here on the presentation, there is a graphic, or it is that the computer system is composed of hardware, software, and humanware. So I will not be discussing that anymore because I have mentioned it earlier. This next slide, we will be discussing how a computer performs. So a computer performs five major operations or functions regardless of its size and make. So regardless of the model, of the brand, of anything, a computer equally performs five major operations. Then these are: it accepts data or instructions as input, it stores data instruction, it processes data as per the instructions, it controls all operations inside a computer, and it gives result in the form of output. So in the image right here, it is uh the flow of how a computer system operates. So there is an input unit, the secondary storage, and the output unit. So in the secondary, the broken lines indicates the control exercised by the control unit, and that the arrows indicate the flow of instructions and data. So the data or the instructions uh, being inserted in a computer or being uh, input in a computer would be called as the input unit. Then that input or that data would be stored in a primary storage, and the and it will be processed, and later on it will be resulting into the form of an output. So right at this juncture, you can see that in the presentation, we will now be discussing the input unit. So input unit, it is used for transferring raw data and controlling signals into the information processing system by the user before processing and computation. So input unit is any hardware or any devices that could enter a data into a computer. So basically, any devices that would you think could enter a data. Basically, you can think of a keyboard, of a mouse, or anything. So the functions of the input unit are accepting data and the set of instructions or command. So it is one of the function of the input unit. It is to accept data. Next is to convert the data in which the computer can accept, and to provide the converted data to the computer for further processing. So uh, let us always remember that the input unit functions is to accept, convert, and to provide the converted data. So accept, convert, and to provide the converted data. Next is the central processing unit. So the central processing unit, it is called as the brain of the computer system because why is it called as the brain of the computer system? Because it is responsible for processing data, for interpreting instructions from the software, and controlling all other functions within the computer. So the CPU is acting as the central command center that makes the entire system operate. So a CPU can be compared with the human brain because the human brain directs the body's action. Why that the human brain directs the body's action? Because every nerve is connected within the brain. That is why our actions are depending on how our brain receives the message, or how our brain receives the reflexes. And the central processing unit is consists of three parts: the control unit, the arithmetic logic unit, and the primary storage unit. So first, we'll be discussing the control unit. The control unit from the word control, it is its function is to control, to manage, and coordinates the operations of the entire computer system. Control, manage, and coordinates. So the control unit is the crucial part of the CPU because it manages and directs the operation of the processor by interpreting instructions from the memory and sending signals to the other components like the arithmetic logic unit. So, in the control unit, basic examples that I could give to simply understand or to understand more the control unit is that when you press key on the keyboard, when you press key on your keyboard, and that control unit would send that input and or would process that input and would send the signal to the computer so that the computer could display the letter that has been pressed on your keyboard. So at this point, it controls. So the control unit is the one who manages and coordinates the operations. Next is we'll be discussing the arithmetic logic unit. So from the word arithmetic and logic, uh, what comes into your mind? So arithmetic and logic is similar with the discussions at mathematics or in mathematics. So arithmetic logic unit, it executes the instructions and performs all the calculations and decisions. So the arithmetic logic unit is the digital circuit that performs arithmetic and logical operations. So it performs basic arithmetics like the addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. It also then performs logical expressions like and, or, and not. Then it manipulates binary numbers using logical gates. So arithmetic logic unit is more on processing the calculations and decisions. And last, part of the central processing unit is the primary storage unit. So the primary storage unit, from the word storage, it is called the main memory. It is where every data, everything inside the computer has been stored. So the primary storage unit is the storage or the main memory. So we are at the output unit, and output unit, it gives the result of the process and the computations to the outside world. So going back to the input unit, it is any devices or anything that could enter, or any devices that could enter data into the computer. So in here, right in here, from the word output, it is also anything that could process or that could give the result of the data to the outside world. So in the input, it is anything that could enter data, while in the output, it is anything that could give the result to the outside world. So next, the components of a computer system. So parang bumabalik lang tayo sa kanina. Kasi yung kanina is introduction, so parang pinakapiyawan. So in the components of a computer system, here is the computer hardware, the computer software, and the humanware. So dito natin i-discuss kung ano ang hardware, software, and humanware, and their differences and how they function, and what are their importance within the computer system. So in the computer hardware, it is consists of internal and peripheral devices. So it is all the physical parts of the computer, or everything that we can touch. From the word hardware, hardware is the tangible parts, or the tangible physical parts, or everything that we can see, that we can touch, that that helps in functioning the computer system. Next is the computer software. Computer software is also known as programs or applications. So these are the programs or the applications. It gives intelligence to the computer, because without the software, uh, from the word intelligence, without the software, uh, there will be no parts, or there will be no system that could process the data that has been input, or that is being input in a computer system. And humanware, it is the person who operates computer. So without humanware is basically the most important among the three, because without the humanware, the computer hardware wouldn't be function, and also the computer software will not be function. And the computer hardware components. So when talking about hardware, it is consists of all the machinery and equipment in a computer system. Consists of all the machinery and equipment in a computer system. So in the hardware, there will be input devices, processing devices, storage devices, and output devices. So later on, my group mates will be discussing this, the storage devices, the output devices. And uh, we'll be going to the next, the input devices, which is one part of the hardware components. So the input devices, it is any electronic devices that is connected to a computer to produce input signals. Just like what I've said earlier, input devices and input units are just similar. Input devices is anything that could be inserted in a computer, wherein it could enter data that the computer could process, and the just like for example, the keyboard, the mouse, or anything that could enter data in a computer. They are considered input devices. It is also used to enter data and instructions into the computer. So yun nga. So input devices is anything that could enter data, that could help in entering data in the computer, wherein the computer would later on process that data, and output devices would later on give the result of that data in the outside world. So there are four classifications of input devices. Input devices for text and images, input devices for audio, input devices for video, and pointing devices. So we'll be giving examples of the input devices one by one. So first is the input devices for text and images. Uh, as you can see, and as you've listened earlier, that the main input devices that I am giving is keyboard, because keyboard is the primary input device that is used to enter data. It is the most familiar, that is the most basic input devices that could enter data. So keyboard is considered as an input device for text and images because basically once you press key on that keyboard, it could send signals into the computer and the computer would process it by displaying that letter or by displaying the corresponding letter that you have pressed on the keyboard. So in the keyboard, every keys has a corresponding letter, has a corresponding characters, symbols, or numbers. Next, input devices is the graphics table. The graphics tables is used by the artist which allow them to draw a picture onto a computer screen without having to use a mouse or keyboard. So basically, for instance, that graphics table is much more convenient and much more easier to use for artists instead of pointing the mouse or pressing any keys on the keyboard in drawing for what do you call this, for digital drawing. So graphics table is those who are those who is used by an artist to draw on a computer or to produce a digital drawing or digital arts. Next is the scanner. It is used to capture a source document and converts it into an electronic form. So basing on the definition that is flashed on the presentation, that scanner is used to capture a source document. So basically, imagining the situation, maybe you could capture a document, then the scanner would convert it into an electronic form or would convert it into a soft copy, or the scanner would produce a soft copy of the captured document. Next is the barcode reader. Barcode reader is also known as barcode scanner or point of sale scanner. Point of sale basically because we can see barcode reader has been used or used has been primarily used especially on stuffs or on market by when we are purchasing any product, they are using barcode readers so that they could easily scan the price of the product. So it is an input that is capable of reading barcodes. Next is the magnetic ink character reader. It is a device used for machine recognition of numeric data printed with magnetically charged ink. So again, next is optical mark reader. OMR technology scans a printed form and reads predefined positions and records where marks are made on the form. So digital camera is also considered as an input device for text and images because it is a device that takes photographs and stores the image as a data on a memory card, because digital camera could capture images, and those images has a data that could be stored on a memory card of the computer. So we'll be having with the input devices for audio. Audio means music or something that we can hear using our sense of hearing. So input devices for audio, first is microphone. It is the most basic, most familiar, and primarily used devices for audio. It is an input device that allows users to input audio into their computers. This is their main tool on recording because it makes your voice more audible when entering or when putting audio into your computer. The MIDI keyboard, it is a controller keyboard like a typical piano-style electronic musical keyboard. So MIDI keyboard is also similar with a piano-style electronic musical keyboard, often with other buttons, wheels, and sliders. So it is also a device for audio because it produces sound that anybody could use and especially to input audios into computers. So input devices for video. Video input is motion images captured into the computer by special input devices. So, kanina, I have mentioned that the digital camera is an input devices for text and images because it can capture. Hence, input devices for video are those could also capture images because when talking about video, some would give definitions that a video is a compilation of in still images or still images that is being compiled to make such a video input. So some input devices used for motion images are webcam, CCTV camera, and digital video camera. But mostly, the primarily used input devices for video is the digital video camera, because uh, CCTV camera is also been helpful, especially to those private sectors on safeguarding the area. And digital video camera is the most used because it can be used whether on anything, especially when creating motion images. And last input devices is the pointing devices. Pointing devices, it is an input device that allows a user to control a pointer on a screen. A pointer is a small symbol on the screen whose location and shape change as a user moves a pointing devices. So having a pointing devices became much more easier on controlling the screen or choosing locations on the screen when using a computer. So the most commonly used type of pointing devices is the mouse. Mouse, wherein some are wireless, but some are wired, wherein you can connect it to a laptop or to a computer, and it will make make your usage of computer much more convenient, since you will just point the mouse at on the screen, and you will just click somewhere so that you could go directly to the app, to the applications, or to the locations you want. And next is trackball, touchpad, and joystick. Touchpad for me is the alternative if you don't have a mouse, and some of them preferred using touchpad because it is uh, it is part of a laptop, and it also have the same clickers, or the same keys, just like the mouse. So it has a right uh right button and left button. Then you can just slide your hands, and so that you can point or you can choose which location on or applications you wanted to enter within your computer. And last is the output devices. So, output devices are the hardware that is capable of delivering or showing information to one or more users. An output device displays, prints, and presents the result of a computer's work. So, output devices either uh, could produce either soft copy or hard copy. So, when talking about soft copy, they are the visual or the monitor the result of the data that has been processed, or it could also be in the mode of a sound, or which is output devices as speakers. Next is hard copy of the processed data are the outputs on a tangible, or tangible means something that you can touch, that we can touch, such as printer or any printout documents. So after processing the inputted data, the computer will give its output, and the output devices is the one who is tasked to give the output of the processed data. So here are some of the examples of output devices. The LCD monitor. Why is it considered as output devices? Because it displays the informations that we wanted to see. It displays the process informations from the data that has been input in a computer. LED monitor is also similar with LCD monitor. LCD projector, dot matrix printer, laser printer. Printer because they're the one who produce tangible documents, tangible outputs that could process the data, or that could give the result to anyone who wanted to see the result of the process data. Next is the inkjet printer, thermal printer, speakers, woofer, headset, earphones. Those are examples of output devices because uh, they help in uh, they help in showing or giving the results of informations. And next storage devices would be discussed by my group mate. And that's my part. Thank you for listening.
So I am Malcolm Marcena and I will be continuing to discuss about the important components of a computer system. So first we have the storage device. So what is a storage device? So it is any hardware device used for storing, transferring and retrieving data, files or objects. And these devices can store information either temporarily or permanently, and it can be inside or outside the computer. So there are or let's look at the types of computer storage. So there are two main types, the primary storage and the secondary storage. So now let's take a look with the primary storage. So primary storage is the main memory of a computer. It holds data and programs that the processor can access directly. So this means that when we open an application or run a program, it gets stored in primary storage so that the processor can quickly retrieve and use it. And now let's dive deeper into primary storage. So there are two main types naman ng primary storage. The RAM or random access memory and the ROM or read-only memory. So RAM is a temporary storage that holds data and programs while the computer is running. It also allows the CPU to read and write quickly. So it makes it an essential part of a computer's performance. So it is volatile. So meaning all data is lost when the computer is turned off. And it is called working memory because it stores data temporarily while tasks are being processed. Okay, so the computer uses RAM to hold instructions and the data that the CPU needs immediately, and it allows for faster processing. Let's imagine if you are working on a document. So while typing, your work is stored in RAM so you can make quick edits. But if the power goes out before saving, the document is lost because RAM is temporary storage. Okay, so ROM on the other hand is permanent, stored inside the computer. So it contains important data and instructions that cannot be changed once recorded by the manufacturer. And it is non-volatile, meaning the data remains even after the computer is turned off. And it contains pre-recorded programs that help start up the computer like the BIOS, which loads the operating system. Unlike RAM, ROM can only be read. You cannot modify or delete its content. Okay, so think of ROM as a recipe book with instructions written by the manufacturer. You can read the instructions, but you cannot rewrite them. So, quick recap. So, RAM is a temporary, volatile, read and write and working memory, while ROM is permanent, non-volatile, read-only and pre-recorded programs. Okay, so next, think about when you save your work. Documents or files on your computer. Where do they go? They are stored in secondary storage, which it is an alternative storage solution that keeps your data safe for future use. So one of the key things about secondary storage is that it is non-volatile, meaning it does not need power to keep the information stored. Even you turn off your computer, your files will still be there until you choose to delete them. This makes it extremely useful for storing programs, documents, and other important data. Now, secondary storage can come in different forms. It can be removable, internal, or external. So, removal like USB flash drives or external hard drives And yung mga external naman, kagaya ng hard drive inside your computer, and external devices connected to your computer like an external SSD or a backup drive. So, meron tayong tatlong main types ng secondary storage: magnetic medium, optimal medium, and flash memory. So, first, ang magnetic storage. So, ito ay gumagamit ng magnetic patterns para mag-store ng data. And ang pinaka-common example nito ay ang hard disk drive or HDD na makikita sa mga computers. So, sa loob ng HDD, may umiikot na magnetic disk at isang maliit na magnetic head na nagbabasa at nagsusulat ng data. Kasama rin dito ang floppy disks at magnetic tapes, pero bihira na itong gamitin ngayon. So, malaki ang storage capacity nito, kaya madalas gamitin para sa mga long-term data storage. Next is optical medium. And meron tayong optical storage na tinatawag. Gumagamit naman ito ng laser para magbasa at magsulat ng data. And ilan sa mga halimbawa nito ay CDs, DVDs, at Blu-ray discs. And ang data ay nakastore bilang maliit na bumps sa surface ng disk at ini-scan ito ng laser para ma-retrieve ang informations. Magaan at mura ang optical storage kaya madalas itong gamitin sa movies, music, at file sharing. Pero, mas mabagal ito kumpara sa ibang storage types. Okay, and last, we have the flash memory. Yan. So, it is a solid state, non-volatile, and rewritable. Ibig sabihin, walang moving parts, kaya mas matibay at mas mabilis kumpara sa HDD. So, ilan sa mga examples nito ay USB flash drives, SSDs or solid-state drives, at memory cards na ginagamit sa smartphones at cameras. So, dahil sa bilis at portability nito, maraming mga modern computers na ngayon ang gumagamit ng SSDs imbes na mga HDDs. So, to summarize, magnetic storage, malaki ang capacity niya. Ginagamit ito sa HDDs. So, and optical storage, ginagamit naman ito sa CDs, DVDs, and pang-distribute ng media. Pag flash memory naman, mabilis siya, matibay, at ginagamit siya sa SSDs at USB drives. Okay, so next we have capacity. So capacity refers to the number of bytes or characters or storage medium that can hold. So it refers to the amount of data storage device that can hold. This is measured in bytes, where each byte consists of 8 bits, the smallest unit of digital data. So this table provides a hierarchy of storage units. So we have 1 byte or byte. This is the basic unit of storage and consisting of 8 bits. Next, we have the kilobyte or KB. 1 KB equals to 1024 bytes, not just 1000 due to binary counting. And we have megabyte. So megabyte, 1 MB equals to 1024 KB, commonly used for small files like documents or low-resolution images. And yon. So we have gigabyte. 1 gig equals to 1024 MB. So it is typically for software applications, high-quality images, and short videos. And we have terabyte. 1 terabyte equals to 1 trillion bytes or 1024 gigabyte. It was found in hard drives and large storage systems. And we have petabyte. So 1 petabyte equals to 1 quadrillion bytes equals to 1024 terabyte. It is used in big data storage, cloud servers, and large-scale backups. And we have exabyte. So 1 exabyte equals to 1 quintillion bytes, equivalent to 1024 bytes. And we have zettabyte. 1 zettabyte equals to 1 sextillion bytes, equivalent to 1024 exabyte. And it is used for total global digital data estimates. We have also yottabyte, or 1 yottabyte equals to 1 septillion bytes, equivalent to 1024 zettabyte, and it extremely vast storage beyond everyday use. So next, meron tayong tinatawag na system unit. So ito yung pinaka-core part ng ating computer. Ito yung box-like case na naglalaman ng mga pangunahing hardware components na nagpapagana sa ating computer. So, Now, let's go through to its important parts one by one. So, meron tayong tinatawag na motherboard or mainboard. So, ang motherboard, ang pinaka-main circuit board ng computer. So, dito nakakabit yung iba't ibang importanteng components tulad ng microprocessor or CPU, and yung memory or RAM, at storage devices. And ito yung nagsisilbing backbone ng computer dahil dito dumadaloy ang lahat ng data at signal sa ginagamit ng iba't ibang parts ng system. And next, we have a hard disk drive or HDD. Nabanggit ko to kanina. So, ang hard disk drive or HDD, ang main storage device ng computer. Dito naka-store yung mga files, programs, at operating system kahit patay ang computer. And gumagamit ito ng mga magnetic storage, kaya matagal bago ito mag-crash. Pero may limit din ang lifespan nito. And ang capacity nito ay sinusukat sa megabytes or MB, gigabytes or gig, o terabytes or TB. Ngayon, marami na rin gumagamit ng mas mabilis na solid-state drives or SSD bilang alternative. And next, we have the optical drive, CD or DVD. So, ang optical drive naman, ito ay ginagamit para magbasa o magsulat ng CDs at DVDs. Noon, ito ang pangunahing paraan ng pag-install ng software at pag-store ng media files tulad ng movies at music. Pero dahil nga sa USB at cloud storage, bihira na lang itong gamitin ngayon. Next, we have the memory or RAM or random access memory. So, ang RAM ay isang working memory ng computer. Ibig sabihin, dito temporary na ini-store ang data na ginagamit ng CPU habang naka-on ang computer. Mas mataas ang RAM, mas mabilis at mas maraming applications ang kayang patakbuhin ng sabay-sabay. Pero tandaan natin na ang RAM ay volatile. Kaya kapag pinatay ang computer, nabubura lahat ng laman nito. And next, we have the microprocessor or Central Processing Unit or CPU. Our CPU o tinatawag ding microprocessor ay nagsisilbing utak ng computer. Ito yung responsable sa pag-execute ng mga inuutos or computations. And yung bilis ng CPU ay sinusukat ito sa gigahertz at yung mas mataas na value ay nangangahulugang mas mabilis ang pag-process ng data.
Good day to each and everyone. So my name is Camille Agavao Alvarez. I will discuss the computer software components. Start with computer software. Computer software is refers to the recognized collections and of code representing the instruction executed by the computer. It is the collection of programs that increase hardware possibilities and guide the computer during the specific job. Computer software is a set of instruction or program that enable the users to interact with the computer. Example of all apps we are using or download in our laptop or phone like Chrome, Gmail, and many more. Let's move on to the categories of computer software. So it is normally classified into two word categories. First is the system software and application software. So you can see the PPT. We have a user, application software, and system software, and hardware. So user is like me. User ako ng laptop, ganyan. And application software is yung mga apps dun sa computers. And system software is we'll discuss later, and hardware is let's discuss later on. Okay? Let's now discuss our main topic, and that is what is system software. System software. The system software is also alternatively refers to the system program. A system software are the computer program developed especially to operate various hardware components connected to the computer. The next one is the application software. The application software is a program or apps which perform a specific function. Example of Gmail. Gmail is used to email message, just like that. And Facebook, it used for social media. Types of system software. First is Operating system. The operating system internally used to another set of system software components to communicate with the different hardware components. Hardware components are a physical part of a system, which we can see these components are physically connected to the system. System components are used for the work of interface between the operating system and computer hardware. Computer hardware is there are interface components that are part of a system itself. Example of some hardware components is the keyboard, mouse, display monitor are the connected externally in the system. Function of an operating system: memory management, resource allocating and sharing, backing store management, interrupting handling, process of management, file of management, device management, I/O system management. So I is input, O is output of system management. Secondary storage management, security, command interpretation, network, job accounting, and communication management. Yan ang mga function of operating system. So, let us start off memory management. It is the process of controlling how computers memory allocate and use. Memory management is usually divided into three areas: hardware memory management, operating system memory management, application memory management. Memory is the most expensive part in the computer system. Memory is a large array of words, each with its own address. Resource allocation and sharing. This is the process where the operating system decide which program or user gets the access, which resource, and how long. For example, when the multiple programs are running on the computer, the operating system allocate the CPU time each program, ensure they all get the fair share of the processing power. Backing store management. Any location use store information when it refers of the natural location it's otherwise being used. For example, memory used by the graphical interface to keep the copy of the contents obscure windows. Interrupt handling. It is a process of responding to a signal that a specific event occurs which temporarily suspends a program. This allows device and program to communicate with each other in real time. Why is interrupt handling is important? Because of a fundamental part of modern computer system and help control and functional behavior of operating system. Example that is when you press key on the keyboard and key press generate an interrupt signal, causing the computer temporarily pause in current operation to read the key press and then resume when it left off, allowing the immediate responding to user input. Process management. The CPU executes a large number of the program while it's the main concern of the execution of the user program. The CPU also needed for the other system activities. This activities is called process. A process is a program execution. What is CPU? CPU is the central process unit. CPU is the brain of the computer system that provides computational and the decision-making power. File management is the process of organizing, storing, and managing digital files. It allows users to create, edit, delete, and find file easily. Why its file management is important? It's help user to find access file quickly, easily, so mas napapadali. It's help maintain that integrity and productivity. It's help reduce the manual process and improve the productivity. Device management is an operating system. It is a process of controlling, coordinating, and how computer communicates with the external device. It includes management, input, output, device such as printers, keyboards, and monitor. Next is the input-output system management. Refers to the process controlling and coordinating the flow of data between the computer system. It is an external device that the main object is OS or operating system is hides to percolates and hardware device from the user. Example that is the keyboard, mouse, monitor, printer, hard disk, network card, scanner, microphone. Next is the secondary storage management. It is a process of organizing and controlling access to the data store or the secondary store device. The goal of the secondary is to retain the until it's overwritten or deleted. It's used to store non-critical data doesn't need to access or frequently in the primary storage. Security. So, somehow is may pumapasok na talaga sa atin sa isip natin kapag security because in our phone kapag mag-input tayo ng password sa ating mga Facebook di ba may nakikita tayong security. So meron din siya dito sa like in the monitor or laptop. Security is protect of information of the computers and against the malware, treat and authorize access. Example of the computer system. Cause security consists of the firewalls, encryption, password, and antivirus, anti-malware software. Command interpretation. It's a system. So, kailangan maintindihan natin yung mga execution command ng enter the interactivity by the human tayo and from the other program. So, command interpretation is ay mahalaga. So, parang mahalaga siya dun sa operating system. So, nagpro-provide ito ng interface between the user and the computer. User is just like me and computer. Alam naman natin ang computer, okay? Networking. Distributed by the system, group, profession which does not share memory, hardware device, or clock cancer, communicate with the other through the network. So, specialized dito is yung type of operating system. Primarily, nagpo-focus ang dapat focusing siya in the managing network. So, function like user access, resource sharing, security on the network. So, nag-exchange din ng information, ideas sa mga so people, just like that. And common, professional, or special interest and social setting of information. Job accounting is an operating system. So, that capacity to track, record time and resource like CPU usage memory are used the different users and process running into the computer, allowing administrator to monitor system usage, identify the performance issues and potentiality, charge user based on their resource consumption. Yan. Communication management. So, refers to the process facilitating data exchange and coordinating between the different components like process, trade, and hardware device, primarily achieving with a true mechanism like inter-process communication, IPC. so which allows the program to interact, share information with each other effectively. Essentially, an OS operating system is manage how different parts of system communicate and interact with the one another.
Hello everyone. Now I will discuss the different types of operating system. Ano nga bang operating system? Operating system are the backbone of the computer who controls the software and hardware interactions. It is the brain of the computer. Without this, the computer will function cannot function properly. First is the batch operating system. Batch operating system is is a computer system who group the tasks together to make it fast to finish it. It is the one who, instead of executing each task by one with user interaction, the system collects multiple tasks to put them together and then process them automatically. So, for example, a bank needs to transact a different um, transactions like bill payments, salary payments. Then, instead of i-transact nila ito isa-isa, binabatch nila ito into a per batch, binatch na for the for example sa PPT, di ba? The user send the jobs to operating system and then binatch na ito to put to a fast para mapabilis yung pag-process ng mga na magpag-process ng mga transactions or any mga task na gagawin. So the goal of the batch operating system is to para mapabilis yung pag-process ng mga different tasks and or any transactions. So next is the multitasking time sharing operating system. Multitasking time operating system is users are it allows multiple users or programs to use a single computer system at the same time instead of one user running one task of a time. The operating system divides the CPU time among different users. Parang parang iisa siya, nasa iisang process, iisang operating system lang siya, then may mga iba't ibang gumagawa. Parang sabay-sabay silang gumagawa sa iisang computer system. Like, sinishare nila, the process time of the CPU is shared among multiple users. Kaya siya naging time sharing. So, ang goal nito is, ganun din sa batch operating system, mas mapabilis yung gawa ng mga task or any computer task. So next is the real time. Real time, it is also known as embedded operating system, and it's totally depending upon the clock interrupt. So it is designed and process data and respond immediately within a strict time frame. Parang siya yung nagre-respond siya. It is a computer system, operating system na pinaprocess niya yung mga data into sa tamang oras. Like kung ano yung ilinagay mong oras, doon siya magpa-process. Like kung doon din siya makukomplete, like it ensures the task completed sa guaranteed time limit. Parang hindi siya magiging late, hindi siya parang kung gusto mong makomplete niya yung task within parang mamaya 10 o'clock, makukomplete niya within 10 o'clock a.m. So in examples of real time is the military software and space software. So next is the distributed operating system. So it is used in many processors located in different machines to provide very fast computation to its users. So it is a system that runs across multiple computers connected through a communication network. These computers work together as if they are single system, allowing fast and efficient computing by sharing resources like memory and processing power and storage. Para dinidistribute niya yung mga operating system to spread tasks into multiple machines. Like, ini-split niya yung mga tasks to make it fast, para ma-finish, matapos agad. Parang sa for example lang sa G drive, 'di ba? Sa iisang G drive, iba't iba yung nagpapasa ng mga task, and then but sa iisang lang siya, system, which is parang dun sa may picture o sa communication network, one system lang siya, and then may workstation, terminal, file saver, database saver, may computer node, and workstation. Yun yung ng distributed operating system. Ganon siya mag-work. So next is the network operating system. Ang network operating system naman, ang network operating system naman runs on a server. It provides the capability to serve the managed data user groups. Ito naman, with this, makaka-connect yung mga, yung isang parang yung computer using the network operating system. Makaka-connect siya sa mga iba't ibang devices like printers and other hardware to communicate and share resources with the sa mga ibang hardware. So it allows to connect to the other devices. Next is the mobile OS. Mobile OS is the operating system which is especially that are designed to allow us empower smartphones, tablets, and wearable devices to run applications and programs. Ito yung, for example, ito yung mga Android, iOS, Windows, Linux, na nagra-run ng mga phones, laptops. Without the mobile operating system, hindi gagana ang isang phone, laptop, or any devices. So it runs the application like social media and games, hardware control to manage the sensors, battery, and processors. Yun yung mga gawa ng mobile, yung mga ginagawa ng mobile OS sa mga devices. So next is the examples of operating system. First is the Unix operating system. So Unix, it was first created in Bell Labs way back in the 1960s. It became popular in the 1970s for high-level computing, but not on the consumer level. So ang Unix system is a command line based operating system. Users can interact with it by typing commands in a terminal. Tinatype niya yung mga itong operating system na ito is you will type to command this operating system. Parang it is a powerful tool to because multi-user or multitasking operating system widely used for ginagamit nila ito to for networking and security. Parang mga yung programmers and developers ginagamit rin nila ito for coding and debugging the software. So next is the Macintosh OS or the Mac OS. Ito naman yung Mac. Nakikita lang siya, parang ginagamit lang siya sa mga, syempre Mac, sa mga Apple Mac computers. Parang siya rin naman yung Mac OS, siya yung nagpapagana sa mga Apple Mac computers. Siya yung nag-work, gumagawa ng mga creative tasks, like parang siyang Windows, di ba? Siyang Windows. Without this, the computer cannot work properly, or the laptop cannot work properly. So it is a Unix based and optimized for Apple device like MacBook, iMac, and Mac Mini. Sa mga computers and laptop lang siya. So next is the MS-DOS or Microsoft Disk Operating System. Commercialized by Microsoft, it was the most dominant operating system for the PC-compatible platform during the 1980s. It is command line driven interface program where the user interacts with the computer. So the MS-DOS is old na siya. Nag-work lang siya in 1980s and 90 to 1990. Old operating system siya. And yung mga key features niya na nasa mga key features niya sa mga laptop is it can only run one program at a time. Di ba? Mabagal siya. Old na kasi siya. Parang siya yung nag pinalitan ng Microsoft Windows. Microsoft Windows ata yun. So, the users types commands para siyang Unix rin. Tina-type niya yung commands to operate the system. It was a text-based operating system that used a command line interface. So, command line interface meaning text-based interface siya or typing commands. So, was the foundation of early version of Windows. Siya yung unang version ng Windows. So, next, Microsoft Windows Operating. It is first introduced an operating environment named Windows in November 1985. Ito siya yung parang idinagdag or ipinalit MS-DOS in response to the growing interest in graphical user interface. So, the Windows is a graphical operating system which hindi na siya yung parang kay MS-DOS na typing command. Siya ay graphical kasi nga, 'di ba, in a modern day ngayon, mas sumami. Hindi na gaya noon, mas maraming nagbago in terms of the computer tasks or in laptops. So, in Microsoft Windows, parang idinagdag or ipinalit nila sa MS-DOS because of the growing interest in graphical user interface. It provides a visual interface like using icons, menus, buttons rather than typing text commands. So, mas better ito kaysa sa MS-DOS. So, next is the Linux operating system. Linux operating system for is an open source operating system for personal computer service and many other hardware platforms. It manages computer hardware and software just like Windows and MS-DOS, but it is free, which means no need to buy a license like Windows. So, secure, highly customizable siya. Unlike Windows, which is controlled by Microsoft, Linux is developed by a global community of programmers who constantly improve that. In-improve nila yung Linux, which is it manage hardware and software on computers and devices. Gaya lang din siya ng Windows na minamanage niya yung mga software and hardware in a laptop. So it is the same. So there are several operating systems that uses the Linux kernel. This includes Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat, Fedora, Chrome OS, and Android for smartphones. So next is the utilities program. Utility program, these are small powerful programs with limited capability. They are usually operated by the users to maintain smooth running of the computer. Nasa computer din siya. Syempre, operating system. It performs specific tasks like managing files, optimizing performance, fixing issues, or assuring security. Ang utility program, it helps manage the or maintain and optimize your computer like ito yung file management utilities, the security utilities like the file explorer ng mga laptop, Windows Defender like McAfee to protect against viruses, and it reorganize the data or rearrange para ma-arrange yung mga data in your computer or laptop. Sila yung mga gumagawa ng mga iba't ibang gawain sa mga laptop like storing the data, files, or protecting your laptop from viruses. Ganon. So, next is the device drivers. Ang device drivers naman, it allows communication between a device and the computer. Parang, parang siya yung, 'di ba, pag may printer na ikakabit ka sa laptop mo, 'di ba kailangan mong mag-download muna ng driver ng printer na yon para maka-send ka ng print jobs properly sa printer na yon para mas mapabilis yung pag-connect ng laptop mo or computer mo sa printer na yon. So it ensures hardware or works efficiently para mas mapabilis yung pag-work ng hardware na yon na i-connect mo sa laptop mo. So, without drivers, the OS wouldn't understand how to use the hardware properly. Kung walang yung driver na iyon, hindi niya maiintindihan or hindi siya mag-work properly sa hardware na iyon kasi nga wala siyang driver. So, parang sa printer, 'di ba? Pag walang driver yung printer sa laptop mo, mahihirapan yung printer na parang i-process kung ano yung isinesend mong print jobs sa printer na iyon. So that's all the different types of the operating system. Thank you.
I'm Rosalind Lucas and I'll discussing the application software. Ano nga ba ang application software? Ang application software ay isang uri ng software na ginagamit para direktang makatulong o mapadali ang mga gawain ng isang user. Hindi ito tulad ng operating system na nagpapatakbo sa buong computer. Ang application software ay ini-install sa ibabaw ng operating system at may partikular na gamit tulad ng pagsusulat ng dokumento, paggawa ng presentasyon o pag-edit ng mga larawan. Sa madaling salita, ito ang programang ginagamit natin sa araw-araw. Depende sa ating pangangailangan para sa trabaho, pag-aaral, negosyo o personal na gamit. There are two types of application software, the proprietary application software and the package software. Proprietary application software or customized software, ito ay software na ginagamit para isang particular na user o kumpanya. Kailangan ng isang programmer o software developer upang buuin ito. Karaniwang ginagamit sa mga negosyo, paaralan at organisasyon upang magkaroon ng software na akma sa kanilang pangangailangan. Halimbawa nito ay isang supermarket na may sariling inventory management system para mas madali matrack ang kanilang paninda. Pangalawa naman ay ang package software. Ito ay software na handa ng gamitin at ibinebenta sa publiko. Karaniwan itong binibili bilang package o bundle ng iba't ibang applications. Pwedeng bilhin ng buo, rentahan, o isubscribe. Halimbawa nito ay ang Microsoft Office. Ito ay ginagamit sa office work at school projects. Ito ay madaling gamitin dahil ito ay pre-designed at may user-friendly interface. Ito rin ay mas mura kaysa sa custom software. Examples of application software. The first one is word processing software. Ito ay ginagamit para gumawa ng documents, worksheets, letters at reports. Ito ay may tools para sa editing, formatting, at printing ng text. Halimbawa nito ay MS Word, Google Docs, at Apple Pages. Pangalawa ay ang desktop publishing software. Ito ay para sa paggawa ng posters, banners, greeting cards, newsletters at iba pang graphic materials. Ito ay ginagamit ng graphic designers, marketers at publisher. Halimbawa nito ay ang Adobe PageMaker, MS Publisher at Canva. Ang pangatlo ay ang spreadsheet software. Ito ay ginagamit sa pagtutuos, budgeting, forecasting at data analysis. May kakayahan itong gumawa ng graphs at charts mula sa numerical data. Ang halimbawa nito ay ang MS Excel, Google Sheets at Lotus 123. Pang-apat, ang database software. Ito ay para sa pag-store at pag-organize ng malalaking set ng data tulad ng address, records at inventories. Ginagamit sa mga negosyo at institusyon para sa mas mabilis na data retrieval. Halimbawa nito ay ang MS Access. Panglima ay ang presentation software. Ito ay ginagamit para gumawa ng multimedia presentation para sa klase, negosyo o seminar. May kakayahang gumamit ng text, images, animations, at videos. Ang example nito ay ang MS PowerPoint, Google Slides, at Prezi. Ang pang-anim ay ang internet browsers. Ito ay ginagamit para mag-browse sa internet. magbasa ng emails at mag-access ng websites. Ang halimbawa nito ay ang Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, at Microsoft Edge. Ang pampito ay ang email programs. Ito ay para sa pagpapadala at pagtanggap ng emails gamit ang internet. Ang halimbawa nito ay ang MS Outlook, Gmail, Yahoo Mail. Ang pang-walo ay ang graphics programs. Ito ay para sa photo editing, digital painting, at image manipulation. Gumagamit ng pixels upang mabuo ang isang larawan. Ang halimbawa nito ay Adobe Photoshop, MS Paint, at PointShop Pro. Ang pang-siyam ay ang graphics program. Ito ay Vectorbase. Ito ay para sa paggawa ng illustrations, logos, at cartoon-style drawing gamit ang vectors. Ang vector images ay hindi nagiging pixelated kahit lumaki ang size. Ang example nito ay ang Adobe Illustrator, CorelDRAW, at Inkscape. Ang panghuli ang communication software. Ito ay ginagamit sa video calls, chats, at online meetings. Ito ay mahalaga sa remote work, online classes, at personal communication. Example nito ay Zoom, MS Teams, Google Meet, Skype, at Discord. These are the capabilities of software. Ang una ay ang Object Linking and Embedding, or OLE. Dito, pinapayagan ang pag-share ng impormasyon sa pagitan ng apps. Halimbawa nito ay ang pag-copy-paste ng Excel table sa MS Word. Pangalawa, ang portability of data. Dito, ang mga files ay pwedeng ilipat sa iba't ibang devices at operating systems gamit ang FTP o File Transfer Protocol. Panghuli ay ang upgradability. Ang software ay maaaring i-upgrade upang magkaroon ng bagong features, ngunit minsan nangangailangan ito ng mataas na hardware specs.
Good day everyone, and I'm Marjeline Ribao, and I will be discussing about HumanWare. It describes the customer experience of software and hardware. More particularly, it has to do with the facilities of a computer system being developed based on the interests and needs of a user. HumanWare is a combination of hardware and software that's designed to make it easier. For example, the skills and training required to use a software program, and also HumanWare solution help all users live independently and participate successfully in today's world. And now we proceed to the categories of peopleware, which is the computer engineer, software engineer, information technological specialist, website designer, computer technicians, system analyst, project manager, programmer, database administrator, and service administrators. First is computer engineers, which is they are engaged in software design and application to address the needs of a particular industry or sector. Halimbawa, ang mga computer engineer ay nagtatrabaho sa maraming industriya, kabilang ang mga pangangailangang pangkalusugan, robotics, cybersecurity, at artificial intelligence. Sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na gawain, maaari silang lumikha ng mga tool na seguridad ng impormasyon, magdisenyo ng mga bagong grid ng kuryente, bumuo ng mas mabilis na mga processor, o bumuo ng mga biomedical na device. The second one is the software engineer, which is sila yung pangunahing responsable sa paggawa ng disenyo at pagbuo ng software ng mga computer. For example, the applications developers, which is sila yung nagre-create ng applications like business applications and computer games. The third one is the information technology specialist. They task to plan and coordinate the installation, operation, troubleshooting, and maintenance of the computer, software, and hardware system. Ang example nito is yung may karanasan ka with hardware, software, and network. And website designer. They are engaged in the construction of the navigation schemes of a website. Ang example naman nito is yung the Google homepage. The next one is compute technicians. They in charge with the repair, and maintenance of computers and its servers. And they also build or configure new hardware as well as installing and bring up to date the software. And they are also tasked with the creation and maintenance of computer networks. They are responsible for monitoring and controlling computer system, especially mainframe computer systems in the company or organizations. In short, computer technicians provide computer and network support within business, government, office, and non-profit organizations. And now, we proceed to system analysis, which is ito naman yung isang tao na gumagamit ng mga diskarte sa pagsusuri at disenyo upang malutas ang mga problema sa negosyo gamit ang teknolohiya ng informasyon. An example nito is making a change to some computer code to achieve a task, fixing a faulty air conditioning system, or analyzing the routines in your life to stop a mistake from happening. And the next one naman is project manager. They are the person who has the overall responsibility for the successful initiation, planning, design, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closure of a project. For example, si Bill Gates, the CEO of Microsoft, siya ay nag-adapt ng autocratic management style into top-down leadership approach. The next one is the programmer. Ito naman yung nag-specialize ng isang area sa computer programming or to a generalist who writes code for many kinds of software. For example, they write codes that tell the computer to turn on or off when a user presses the power button. The next one is the database administrator, which is the responsible for the performance monitoring, security, integrity, troubleshooting, as well as backup and data recovery of a database. They use specialized software to store and organize data. The last categories of peopleware is server administration. It has the overall of a server. This is usually in the context of a business organization where a server administration oversees the performance and condition of multiple servers in the business, or it can be in the context of a single person running a game server. In other words, the server administrator is technical professional who oversees a company's computer servers daily.